Hey everybody, Jen Quammen here. I just wanted to share something that had happened to me recently, and mostly I want to start by saying that I did something last week that I never thought I would do, and so we'll get to that punchline here in a few minutes. But so I was traveling home on a Friday night, flying through Chicago. So I get to the airport, get through security line, get to my gate, pick up a tea, was sitting at my gate, having a little something to drink and, listening to a podcast. And I just kind of had this moment of like, I'm missing something. Like you just have this moment of like, something just struck me. And I was like, okay. And so I'm like, what am I missing? And I start looking in my bag and I immediately remember what it is that I can't find. And it's something that I keep in my pocket all the time. And it's, so this is an object that reminds me, and it was my brother's. And so it has a lot of sentimental value to me. It's not worth anything financially, monetarily, probably pennies. But it is something that I keep with me every day. And if I'm not in pants that have a pocket, I might have it in my jacket pocket, or if I have a purse or a bag, it's with me. And so I'm like, all right, I can't find it in my bag. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to track my steps. And I remember coming through security. And when I got up to the x-ray machine, I put my bag through, set my backpack down. And then just like most of us, I sort of checked myself like, oh, do I have anything? And I had stuff in my pockets. I always keep these 2 or 3 things in my pockets. And so I grabbed them out and I went to put them in one of those little containers, and there were no containers sitting there and there were no agents immediately around when I went through. So I was like, all right, I opened my bag and I put them in there and closed the bag and off it went. Again, fast forward now 45 to an hour later, and I'm sitting there thinking, it's not in my bag. Like I know it's not in my pocket, it's not in my bag. So I either dropped it along the way or misplaced it, something has gone on. So I'm like backtracking my steps of where I've been. Like I know it had to be a TSA. And so I go back and there's an agent there and she was really nice. And I said, I'm looking for this thing, trying to describe it. I'm like, it's this flat metal object. It's got some engraving on it. And I know I was here, 45 minutes ago. I don't remember exactly which line I was in, but this was definitely the security station that I came through. And so she was super nice and she went checking through all of there's like, I guess, drop through boxes where if things fall, they like collect them, sort of a lost and found. Can't find it. Like, okay, so I'm starting to get upset. I'm like, well, what do I do? Is there a way that I can report it, make sure that if it gets found, it gets back to me? And so again, a little back and forth, and she gives me the email address to Lost and Found. So I'm like, all right. So I go back to my gate and I'm like emailing Lost and Found. And in my head, I'm thinking like, this is going to go into the vortex of like a government email and I may never hear anything back, much less find the item. And so as I'm writing the email, I'm thinking on my phone, maybe I have a photo, and I go scrolling through and I do indeed have a photo. And so I attach that to the email and I send it. And about that time I look up, I'm supposed to be boarding at this point. Oh, guess what? My flight's delayed. So I've got like probably at least a 20-minute window at this point, maybe 15, where I'm like, cool, the flight is here. They're deplaning the people that were on before me. So I know about how much time I've got. So I'm like, all right, now I have a photo. So I go back to TSA again. Different agent comes up to me and I am visibly upset. Like I am worked up. I'm in tears. I'm sure these people think I'm nuts. And this really nice guy, I honestly didn't get his name. I said, I was here a little bit ago. I was looking for something. It's metal. I was trying to describe it. I said, but I have a picture. Can I show it to you? And he said, sure. And so I show it to him and he takes a picture with his phone and then he goes back and looks again. And at the same time, one of his colleagues is like, we're going to run your bag back through. Let's check your shoes. Let's do all the things. So I'm basically like, taking off of my clothes at, the backside of security check. And I'm like, I know it's not on me. I'm not someone that loses things. And so I'm, again, getting upset and time is ticking and like the flight is coming and all the things, the flight is getting ready to board. And I hear him say, I think I found it. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm, you like want to run over, but also you want to be like mindful of your body when you're in a security area. I know there's probably like thousands of cameras on me. And so he comes back over and he shows it to me. And I was like, that's exactly it. And so I'm going to show it to you. This is it's a very simple, this is a piece of metal that has some engraving on it. This is part of a keychain, but it's something my brother had. And it's something that is important to me. I keep it with me always. It's always in my pocket. And if I don't have a pocket, it's in my purse or my bag nearby. So I'm literally sobbing, I'm crying. And so I said to this agent, and he comes over and hands it to me. And I was like, thank you. I really, really appreciate it. And I said, can I give you a hug? And I see him kind of pull back for a second, like, I shouldn't allow this. And he's like, he starts to say no, and then he finally says yes. And so I gave him a big hug, thanked them all again, grabbed my things, rush back to the gate. And like, just as I get there, flight is boarding, I get on the flight, all those things. And so I think what I wanted to say as a moral of this is that, like, two things. The thing I did that I didn't think I would ever do is that I hugged a TSA agent. At least in retrospect, I asked permission first, but that's probably not something that's part of their everyday job. And so, yeah, I just wanted to share that. And that it's like silver linings, right? So I had a flight that was delayed, and had that flight not been delayed, I'm sure, and I know that's the negativity bias in me, but I'm certain that I would have never seen this object again. That email probably is still sitting in someone's inbox, and who knows if it'll ever get acknowledged. But I'm here to say thank you, TSA. Be nice to your TSA agents, be nice to people at the airports. There's a lot happening there. There's a million people that don't fly all the time, and they don't know what's happening. And even for me, someone that flies all the time, what I realized was I didn't wait. I wasn't patient enough to put this in the right receptacle or to properly close my bag, because in retrospect, I did not fully close my bag. And so thank you, TSA. And I hope you have, if you're traveling, over this next coming weeks and months, we're getting into heavy holiday season. I hope you have a really awesome set of travel for yourself. And thanks so much. I hope your day as well. My life has been good, and I'm really happy to have this back. And so with that, I'll sign off and say thanks so much, TSA. And hopefully I'll see you again. Actually, I know I'll see you again in just a couple more days, because I'll be flying again then. So see ya.